This entire world is created specifically to generate conflict. It doesn't matter the theme, it doesn't matter what type of conflict. The idea is that this entire world is constructed out of conflict. So most human beings which live their life primarily only seeing this mundane experience as being the ultimate form of reality. This type of human beings which are primarily identified almost entirely with this human experience as we see it and know it right now. This type of human beings are almost without their will subjected to an endless stream of never-ending conflicts. It doesn't even matter if what, let's say, team one plays in, if it's the dark team or the light team, if it's the good guys or the bad guys, you know, because both the good guys and the bad guys, they are imprisoned in their design to act in that specific role and to act against the other team. So neither of them is actually free. Both of them are actually imprisoned in the constitution of their own design. So I've just came back from 10 days, almost 9 days of spending with a really nice friend, a really caring woman that I serendipitously met some years ago. And this woman, she's like a dog rescuer, and she's caring for animals, and she's trying to be nice to people and help them, and she's a nature lover, and she's going in the forests foraging for wild plants and mushrooms, and she loves trees, and overall a decent and a nice and caring human being. But I could see how this woman was imprisoned in her own design to be this way. And almost, I mean certainly to a fault. Because, for example, the way that she was caring for the dogs, because she had some dogs, it was completely exaggerated to the point of injuring the dogs with too much care. So this is how I could see how even a good person can do a lot of harm to themselves and to the others around by wanting to do good. After meeting with this friend, which I've been staying at for the last 9 days, I could see how the same type of pattern of fear and paranoia towards the dogs having something happening to them, to the dogs, and too much protection to these dogs, giving them way too much food. Made the dogs ill, and one of the dogs was actually suffering out of too much stress, I would say, because see, people, by the way, they rarely take into account the energy of things. Most people, they only think that reality is what can be seen with the eyes and heard with the ears and, you know, tasted with the mouth and perceived with the 5 senses. So few people really take seriously, like, I mean, really stone factual seriousness, the fact that the energy aspect of our reality is as vital to our experience here as the physical layer, if not, I would say, even more, because the energetic world and the world of energy actually influences heavily our physical experience, and our physical experience is mainly created, I would say, almost entirely from the energy layer of reality. So if this woman has this energy of fear and paranoia that something bad might happen to the dogs, then she, without realizing, is constantly spewing out this ill energy, which is ending up harming the dogs and making them physically ill. So the idea is that I could see how even this good behavior, like the woman was trying to take care of the dogs, giving them food, giving them water all day long, you know, running the dogs, chasing them all around with the bowl of food, if you can imagine, putting the bowl of food under their noses so it's closer and they can find it. Like, what the heck, when a dog is hungry, it is going to find the food. There is zero need to chase the dog with food. But this is what the woman was doing, because this was her idea of what care means. For her, care meant food. So she was caring for the dogs by, you know, stuffing them with food. And yeah, one of the dogs was really ill and the other was really fat. So then you draw a line and you think, like, where is the true goodness? Is there really true goodness? If you look at the consequences, like the direct consequences, like one of the dogs is really fat, like a, you know, like a balloon on legs, and the other is really ill. And I tried to tell her, like, can you give them less food? Like, can you stop giving them so much food? Oh, Denisa, do you want me to keep them hungry? And you know, people become really harsh and mean and ill-tempered when you start to tell them about their mistakes and about their, you know, wrong behaviors, basically. So I've gently asked most, it's like, can you stop giving them too much food? They don't need so much food. It's obvious. Oh, Denisa, do you want me to keep them hungry? Do you want this poor dog, which is already ill, to keep it hungry? And I said, yeah, you should. you should keep it 2 days without food, you know. Oh my god, it's like, what the heck, do you want me to, you know, keep my dog 2 days without food? This dog can barely walk. She's, because the dog was a she, the dog, she's like so weakened, she needs food. No man, she does not need food. She just needs water and sleep, and leave her alone, like really now. And I've made the courage to finally tell my woman friend that she should, you know, leave the dog without food for 2 days. And of course she was like, oh my god, she didn't told me, but I think she believed I'm insane or something. But I knew deeply, because I've connected with the dog at the instinctual level, and I felt what the dog needed. The dog needed to be left alone to recover itself, because dogs have healing abilities. Animals, as I said, they can heal themselves if they are left on their own devices. But see, people think that they can heal. They know better what animals need, so they give them pills and all sorts of food or all sorts of treatments, you know, which most of the times just ends up making them feel worse, and they die out of so much treatment. And you try to tell this to dog owners, I mean, try it, and you'll see the ferocity coming out of these people, which up until that point they consider themselves to be good people, you know. And usually they are considered to be good people, because, you know, they are caring and compassionate. But see, this is where you draw the line and you truly ask yourself, where is the true goodness, right? Because if your acts of so-called goodness are ending up harming another creature, then is that act truly good, or is it just your imagination? Yeah, your intention is pure, and I am one of the people which I value intentions. It's like I value intentions more than results. I truly value what people intended in the first place to achieve and to do, more than what was achieved in the end, because the intention matters, even if the result was a different one. So this is why I still value and respect the, let's say, the good people more in a way than the bad ones, because at least the good people, they have the intention of doing something good, even though they might not have the, you know, the right ideas, or they might employ wrong behaviors. Their intention is to do good. Their intention is to care for the animals. Their intention is to, you know, keep somebody safe. But then if you look at the consequences of some of these good actions, and you see that, well, your good intention ended up in killing the dog, then we also need to take into consideration that something is, you know, jammed somewhere in the process between intention and result. Because if you have a really good intention but you see a faulty result, then usually you need to backtrack and see what happens along the way between intention and result, because something seems to be jammed in the middle, right? In the middle of these mechanics between intention and result, something is jammed, and you have to backtrack, and you have to be able to assess your mistakes and ultimately see that intention alone, it's not enough, that you also need skills, and you also need all sorts of other aptitudes of character, of mind, of soul, and of probably even physical aptitudes sometimes, to be able to put that intention into a right practice, yielding a right result. Because one would want to care for the dog and, for example, have the dog be healthy. But if one employs an unhealthy action, for example, feeding the dog might not be healthy, then the unhealthy action will create an unhealthy result, independent of one's intention. So, see, things are really nuanced, and you can't really devise good from evil. If you start from intention, then you can. It's really obvious, because evil has the intention to create evil, while, let's say, goodness has the intention to create goodness, and that's really clear at the level of the intention. But then what happens after you start applying that intention and wanting to manifest it in reality, then that's another story altogether, because sometimes you want to do something harmful and you end up helping somebody, you know. And sometimes you want to do something good and you end up hurting somebody. So it's really messed up in a way. This reality is really like, you know, some wires being messed up, jammed somewhere, and you input some intention, but you don't necessarily get the same output as that intention on the other side. So the thing is that how I see that to what it is boiling down to, I believe, right now at least. It's like, right now, the way I see this reality is like the entirety of it is created, as I said in the beginning, out of conflict. This reality is created to be malfunctioning, and independent of what you're doing, your results might, it's rarely going to meet your initial intention. So it's just all of us, the good guys and the bad guys, we are experiencing unexpected results. So unexpected results create frustration, and this is why even the good guys, even the bad guys, all of them are frustrated all the time and annoyed, and this reality is just freaking insane. And this is where I'm trying to get to, that this entire reality, independent if you're the good guy or the bad guy, is gonna drive you insane. It's just, even if you're the bad guy, let's say, and you're more cunning, you know, and you're getting away with things that most good people do not get away with, because you're so, you know, cunning and arrogant, and you're able to steal things with shameless, you know, without fear, and you're still going to be hit by this reality in the end. You're going to get a disease, you're going to get something, and it's not gonna be easy. Even if you're a bad guy, it's not gonna be easy. You are dealing with a lot of stress as a bad guy, and you're dealing with the same amount of stress as a good guy also. So the thing is that this entire reality, as I said, is constructed to drive one insane, independent of the roles that we are playing. So if you look at it from a higher perspective, you see that this entire reality is like a malfunctioning thing, or not malfunctioning, it is designed to create problems. It is designed to malfunction, if that makes sense. It is designed to work faulty and to drive its inhabitants insane. So, where I'm getting with all of this is that if you believe in your role, if you're the good guy or the bad guy, the good role or the bad role, doesn't matter. But if you are identified with the role and you don't see yourself as nothing more than the role, if you believe yourself to be the bad guy and the abuser, and you steal things and you don't care, but you really think that that's all you are, and if you believe yourself to be the good guy and you're a dog carer and you're a dog rescuer or whatever, and that's all you think you are, or a spiritual being, you know, meditating on a mountain or whatever, and that's all you know yourself to be, then I believe you are going to be suffering, and you are going to be driven insane in a way or another, even with all your meditations and everything that you do. The thing is that I believe that the only opportunity to truly be able to be in this world and complete one's journey here, or whatever has to be completed, is to recognize that which you are, which exists independent of this experience. One has to recognize itself, but not recognize like intellectual recognition because you've read it in a book or you heard a guru say it, or you have to have the experience of what you truly are, independent of this reality here. And once you have that experience, then finally you can come back here in reality and start paying extreme attention to what happens to your story and to your role and to your character, just like looking at a movie, but paying extreme attention to the movie, to the plot, to the scene, to the characters, to everything that happens in the movie. But see, this type of truly be able to understand the story of the movie itself, the plot, the characters, everything, means to have had the recognition of what you truly are, independent of the movie. Because again, as long as you consider yourself only as the character in the movie, and this is all that you know, and the rest is just a fantasy for you because you have not experienced yet what you truly are, then you are going to be almost entirely run and by your design and by the design of your character. You are going to be run by your character in the movie, if that makes sense. You are going to be imprisoned in your own character because you know nothing else. You have no authority over how the story goes until you recognize yourself as what you truly are, the something else beyond the story and the movie. So right now I see both the bad guys and the good guys mostly without power and without will and without any force whatsoever in this story. They are just playing out their design. The dog rescuers, the compassionate people, the spiritual ones even, they are just programmed. They are just living their pre-programmed design to be compassionate, to be caring. And the bad guys too, they are just, you know, playing out their design to go and steal things and abuse people and get away with taking things through violence. And this is how they are designed to be. And they are just played out by their own design without having anything to say in this matter. So then when you understand that both the good guys and the bad guys are mostly robots, then the question arises, can you truly be mad with them anymore? It's like, can you truly take seriously a dog owner that you see that it is crying there, oh, my dog is like dying and she's ill, she's weak? It's like, yeah, for sure you feel in your heart the pain of what that person is going through, but can you take it truly seriously? That's the question. And then can you take truly seriously an abuser then? Which is going and stealing things and trying to be, you know, a douchebag sometimes and saying awful things to others, and can you truly take them seriously? It's like, yeah, you're bad, but it's like, it's not like you have any power over it. It's just, it's not like you have any power of decision. You're just programmed to act in this way. Oopie. So then, finally, when one realizes that nothing is serious, you know, nothing. There's so much space all of a sudden to see things from a completely different perspective in a way. It's like one would have had, you know, a really narrow scope of vision, and all of a sudden that narrow vision widens up and you have so much space to see so many details in everything that happens in reality, because now all of a sudden you understand that nothing is truly serious. Not the bad guys, not the good guys, not the bad things that happen, not the good things that happen. Nothing is truly real and serious in any way. It's just some pre-programmed scripts running out. How serious can you take a script, a story? Yeah, you take it seriously because you have to. You're in the story. We are far from denying the story. But you take it as seriously as you can take a story. And that's it. You don't mix the story with reality. And you don't take the story to be reality. Because now once you know yourself, you also know that you exist in reality. And this is far from being reality. So once you know that reality exists and you know that this is far from being reality, then you can both be very attentive to the story and what happens in it, but without taking it to be reality and life and death serious. So it's like taking it seriously, but not taking it seriously somehow. It's both of them simultaneously. So we become really attentive to the story. We actually finally are able to look at the story and understand the meaning of it once we remember ourselves as the true selves. But at the same time, now we have so much space and freedom, and the story is far from controlling us anymore. Just now we have freedom to move, you know, in the story. So conclusion to this recording is, how serious can you take the good guys? How seriously can you take the bad guys? And how seriously can you take yourself, like your character? And once you understand and you taste your true self, you will experience a dimension of reality unbelievable, unconceivable. It's like your true self is everything that you're actually needing and missing. You want your true self, and only by having the recognition of your true self can you ever be able to make a sense out of the story of your character and your life. Only when you recognize yourself as the true self and start being here, present in the life of your character, can you truly start making sense of everything that happens in your life, in your story.